One of the broad themes that we've explored on this podcast is how Eurovision and Eurovision songs increasingly find themselves at the center of controversy as Europe itself becomes increasingly divided. So today we're going to look back at Eurovision numbers that have faced pushback from conservative voices in a game we're calling Topping the Right with Flamy Grant.
Love it.
It will come as no surprise to you that our guest for this game is Flamy Grant herself. After right-wing pastor raged that this Christian drag queen was an indication of the last of days, Flamy's song shot up to #1 on the Christian iTunes charts.
A good day to come back home. You sent me away, but I was never alone. You were afraid there was not enough, but you can't run out of love.
Flamy was also nominated for Best Pop Album at the San Diego Music Awards. She is a 2023 Queer X Award nominee for Best Drag Artist and a 2024 Queerty nominee for Drag Royalty. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Can you tell us the story of Good Day and how it came to top the charts?
I had released my album in 2022, and it had been out for 10 months already. I opened a show for a friend of mine, Derek Webb, who comes from the contemporary Christian music world way back when. He was in a band called Cabin's Call. And this guy, Sean Foyt, he self-describes as a Christian nationalist worship pastor, MAGA pastor. Didn't know that was a job description, but okay, Sean. He reposted this photo on his Twitter account. I think he had 100 million followers on Twitter at the time, which is just depressing.
Yeah. Guys, I need to go back to bed.
Yeah. Let's just call the episode right here. He reposts this photo and he says, "It's the end of days. We've got a Christian musician," meaning Derek Webb, performing with a drag queen. My first thing to do was just to reply and be like, "Oh, last days, honey, no, we're just getting started." And then he came back and said something like, "Oh, well, it's a good thing no one listens to you or knows who you are." And well, I am a drag queen. And so I took that as a challenge. And I went to my little social media audience and I was like, "Hey, y'all, here's the deal. Would y'all go stream this song? Let's see if we can move it onto the Christian charts," because that would be pretty iconic to have a drag queen enter the Christian music charts. I woke up the next morning and lo and behold, I think it had already hit #4. And then by the end of the day, it did hit #1. So that was really cool. The album itself also hit #1 and stayed there for 9 days. If you opened iTunes, you would see my face as the literal face of Christian music, like a big painted drag face with a pink wig.
Oh
so
my gosh.
It was a pretty cool little moment.
In the name of the game, you truly topped the right.
Yes.
Maybe the only time I've ever topped anything in my life, so I will take it.
So the one other thing, Flamy, that we need to ask you before we get into this game is, what is your knowledge of Eurovision coming into this?
Well, so I'm famously now known for not knowing anything about pop culture because I was raised super fundamentalist evangelical. It's part of my whole shtick. It's why I named myself Flamy Grant, because my version of a diva was Amy Grant. I was only allowed to listen to Christian music growing up. So I didn't even know what was going on in like American pop music. I certainly did not even know about Eurovision. I think honestly may have been the Will Ferrell movie, like alerted to me the fact that Eurovision was a thing. I've listened to a couple of episodes of your podcast now, and it sounds fascinating. So
it's wild. I mean,
I'm going to call myself a future fan of Eurovision.
Oh my God, I love that. So Flamy, the way that this game that we're playing is going to work is we're going to play you a Eurovision song that caused a freak out on the right in one form or another. And you are going to let us know if that song placed in the top half of the grand finale, or if it placed in the bottom or didn't even make it to the finale at all. First up, we have Joan Manuel Serrat with the song La La La. Now, this song represented Spain in 1968.
Where is this? It looks like a parking lot.
Yeah.
He's kind of like a nerdy stud. He's got a little cowlick going on thing too that I think is really cute. It's just, okay, so far it's just him like walking and looking back and forth between the camera and the parking lot and saying no words, just singing la la la. I feel like he's peering directly into my soul. Oh, and now he's giving us a little smile. I wish I spoke Spanish.
So to give you a little bit of context for the controversy around this song, 1968 in Spain, Francisco Franco had sort of a Spanish nationalist project to like take all of the sort of regional identities of Spain and erase them, right? Joan Manuel Serrat very frequently sung in Catalan. And this song, he's singing it in Catalan.
Oh, lovely.
So Franco was very upset that the country's Eurovision entry would not be a Spanish song. And there's a huge sort of controversy and backlash, which is probably why he had to perform in a parking lot.
Yeah.
Knowing where Spain is today, there's been some movement, obviously, on that front. So I'm going to say that the song succeeded and placed in the top half.
So
the disappointment on both of your faces.
Well, this is a complicated one, though. So technically, by the rules of the game, you are wrong.
Okay.
But sometimes the rules don't matter. Franco stopped him from performing and sent another singer, Maisel, instead.
Oh, my God.
I know. And so she performed the exact same song in Spanish.
In Spanish, okay.
And the song placed number 1 in the contest.
Oh, wow.
There are people who really believe that Franco bribed all the juries that year. So this song would win, but it did win.
Because the thing in Eurovision, if you win, you get offered to host the next year.
Oh, the country gets to host.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's a huge sort of
Incentive
chance, especially if you're a dictator, where you can go,
Sure.
I can paint a beautiful picture of my country.
Oh, yeah.
And speaking of painting a beautiful picture, Franco got Salvador Dali to do all the Eurovision posters the next year. Yeah. But the way in which you're right is he was exiled in 1974. And then in 1975, Franco died. So he was let back into the country. And in the year 2000, the Spanish Association of Authors and Editors awarded him with one of 10 medals of the century. So he really has come a long way since those parking lot days.
I'm so glad he got his due because, my goodness, what a dreamboat.
Joan can get it.
Absolutely can get it.
Would watch him top the right.
Yes.
Next, we're moving to Gigliola Cinquetti with the song C. This is Italy, 1974.
The year that our boy Joan was exiled. He probably couldn't even watch this song.
Oh, no. Our girl can sing, and she can wear a cerulean like nobody. My goodness, this 3-tiered dress that she's wearing is stunning. We've got a little waltz happening. It's beautiful. Oh, the background singers have joined. They are appropriately dressed more drably than our lead. So
Exactly.
That's in her contract.
we're not going to upstage our lead. I love this. She's gorgeous. My God. She took us to heaven right there.
Yeah.
That was beautiful.
Given the tone of the music and everything like that, what do you think the song is about?
I do not speak any Italian, although C means yes, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It was just lifting us up. So it felt like an empowering ballad, maybe. The last clip was her gazing heavenward. So I feel very empowered. I'm sure she felt empowered singing that.
It's quite an empowering song.
So in 1974, divorce was on the ballot in Italy, and the song was pro-divorce.
Wow.
Just to give you some of the
Yes.
lyrics, I walked a little behind his steps, and who knows why I didn't laugh anymore. I had to tell him yes. Out of fear or out of love, I never asked myself this. I sweetly said yes to feel an emotion I had never had. And she's talking about divorce.
That is gorgeous.
Isn't that amazing?
My Will Ferrell vision of Eurovision is that it's this kind of like just campy. But this is like some real life shit happening right here.
Right? Yeah.
My God.
Having heard the song and knowing the controversy, what are we thinking?
I want her to have succeeded, and I want this to have made a dent and an impression in that culture. So I'm going to say that she placed top.
You're 100% correct.
Yay!
So the interesting thing is when Italy aired Eurovision, they actually blocked out their own song.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Which is the only time that's ever happened
That is
in the history of the contest.
wild.
Yeah. And you're not allowed to edit anything about a Eurovision broadcast. Like countries with homophobic governments have gotten in trouble for censoring gay acts
Like
and stuff like
China,
that.
for example, used to air it, and it came out that when Ireland had a same-sex couple dance, that they had censored it, and Eurovision
Although I kind of
kicked
feel
them
like,
out.
given what that number was, I think they censored it because it was boring as fuck. But
Like, true equality is that you can also say gay people can be really boring.
We are allowed to be boring too.
you know what? I'll take a little bit more discrimination just so we could be a little bit interesting again. But that's fine.
But so the song came in second, only behind a little song called Waterloo by
Really?
ABBA.
Oh
Yeah.
my
This
gosh.
was to follow on from the success of the song. Divorce won.
Italian politicians were like, people will listen to this song and they will leave their husbands.
Even further, they were like, our wives will leave us.
Yeah, that's probably
It had real stakes for them.
Yeah.
Then moving all the way to 2014, here is Conchita Wurst, who is representing Austria, with Rise Like a Phoenix.
Let's go, Conchita. Oh. Yeah, I know who this is. Okay, the production value has gotten a little bit better. Wow. These visuals are insane.
Yeah.
She's gorgeous. The look she just gave to the camera before those phoenix wings came up behind her. And now there's fire. Wow. Okay. Inspirational.
Right? I don't think we need to explain too much why Conchita's performance made certain members of the right wing a little bit upset.
Especially knowing this was 10 years ago as well.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Members and broadcasters of Eurovision were like freaking out. One thing that I found is 2,000 Belarusians signed a petition that called Eurovision a hotbed of sodomy. I mean, well, actually, I have to say, I didn't find that statistic while researching this. I was just Googling a hotbed of sodomy, and that's what came up.
Where do I go?
Yeah, it's like,
I can't put that in the bottom. That had to have topped to the right. It had to have. Please tell me it did.
Absolutely.
Oh,
it
thank
did.
goodness.
Not only did it top the right, she won the whole
Oh,
thing.
that's probably why I recognize this video.
She's become the face of modern Eurovision in so many ways. Like,
Next is Elena Sagrinu with El Diablo.
yeah, do you have any idea why this song caused controversy?
I know.
I'm not an expert on Spanish, but
This is 2021 representing Cyprus.
I feel in love, and give my heart to El Diablo, El Diablo.
Okay, she's horizontal to start off with. Oh, I see. Okay, I'm getting Gaga vibes immediately.
His angel, mama, see that, tell me what to do.
We have choreography, we have backup dancers.
I'm breaking
The rules. Oh, I see why it's controversial now. This is so Gaga coded. She's gorgeous though, and I love that costume. Who made that? Who's your designer?
I believe the devil.
But I think they
Devil made it. Well, that was amazing. She gave her heart to the devil.
Yeah.
I mean,
She did.
So,
But did it pay off?
yeah.
It should not be super surprising that the Church of Cyprus was not a fan. They felt the song was offensive, disrespectful, and unrepresentative of Cyprus. There was also an online petition that garnered over 20,000 signatures.
how many people are in Cyprus?
Well, I'm sure at least 2,000 of them were those Belarusians who were interested in the hotbed of sodomy.
It was the Belarusians with a wig on.
Yeah, exactly.
The question is, did giving her heart to the devil pay off or not?
This is tough. I think I'm actually going to go with maybe this one did not land in the top half because the church is still a powerful force, unfortunately.
Even the power of Satan could not overcome. So you were 100% right.
Wow.
This did not place in the top. It placed 16th out of the 26 that were competing in the finale.
So just almost.
Yeah.
And I will say, you go to a club like when Eurovision is happening, and it's like there are 10 songs that play over and over and over again, and this is 100% one of them.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay, so moving to 2009, this is a singer, Hadis, whose song Doom Tek Tek represented Turkey.
Can you feel the rhythm in my heart? The beat's going to tack tack. Always diving like there's no limit. Feels like there's no way back. Can you feel the rhythm in my heart? The beat's going to tack tack.
She starts out singing about an angel, and she's all in red, so I'm already getting devil vibes again.
I mean, I get devil vibes everywhere I turn.
This is a great beat, and she's got hips that move, girl. Come on. Give us some of that belly dancing. I mean, she is giving, she gave a lot of very exotic moves.
Yes.
I didn't catch enough of the words to really know what was so controversial.
I think if you're someone who claims that you were watching this song for the words, it's a little bit like reading the porn mags for the articles. The broadcaster thought her performance was way too sexual.
Okay.
Right?
TRT, which is the broadcaster, state that the video did not represent Turkey as it marketed ass and breasts.
I'm rooting for Hadis. I'm going to say she topped the right.
You are so right. She came in fourth.
Good for her.
It's hot. You took that ass and breast marketing and you said, I'm buying.
Listen, in this inflation economy, any ass and breasts that you can get.
And also,
you know?
not long after Turkey did leave Eurovision. And since, to reference our previous bearded queen, they have also used her as an argument for why they're not rejoining, even though that was years later.
The prime minister of Turkey is like very conservative. His opponent last year, who mounted a pretty serious challenge, was very public about part of what he wanted to do was bring Turkey back into Eurovision. So Turkey won the contest in 2003. He used that song in his campaign videos.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
You know, he also, I guess, was marketing ass and breasts. You can have a presidential debate or a prime minister debate where someone will go, we should enter Eurovision. And everybody knows what side of a bunch of issues you stand on.
It's like imagining Donald Trump and Biden in a debate discussing American Idol. Biden is playing Kelly Clarkson. And like, I don't know who's Trump is playing, but
Justin Guarini, obviously.
Justin Guarini.
Magnus, would you like to take us to our final?
Yes. This is Mahmood with Soldi, representing Italy in 2019.
Okay, he's getting a tattoo, it looks like. He's hot.
It's a running theme on this podcast.
The tattoo is a dragon, flying serpent, snake, think cobra.
Striking
and there's a very
images.
sad little boy. What is going on? Oh, I like the timbre of his voice. He's got like a nasally thing happening. It's real. I love the visuals of this. It's like very like monochromatic and like minimal. But there's a lot of drama and emotion though. This is not a happy song, okay? Like we're dealing with something very intense here.
Because he's part Egyptian, so his dad is Egyptian, the right didn't feel he was Italian enough.
Oh my God,
I
okay.
know. And because he's queer, he wasn't the right kind of Italian masculinity as well.
Of course not.
His selection was so pissed off the government that there were politicians who were like, we need to change the way that we select acts.
And then they also introduced legislation to limit foreign music played on the radio. Now, Mahmoud is Italian, but there's a section of the song that's in Arabic.
Gotcha.
The idea is he has a very complicated relationship with his father, so this song is about his dad. The question is, do you think Mahmoud topped the right? He's topped many over the course of his life. But what was their political affiliation? And
I want to root for Mahmoud and I want this to be a happy ending, but this feels like a lot to overcome. Just knowing what racism and xenophobia can do. So I'm going to unfortunately say he probably didn't.
We have a positive ending for you.
That's right.
Mahmoud
He
topped the
came
right.
in second
my
in the
God.
whole festival.
That's awesome. For like a really dramatic song like that?
Yeah.
Yep. And not only that, he returned to Eurovision in 2022 in a duet that certainly was very queer coded. They were like looking at each other, and in one of the performances, they like grab each other.
I'm
Amazing
gonna go
is
watch
like
this because I want to feel it.
Yeah. If you just Google hotbed of sodomy, it'll come up.
It's because he's actually gay, right?
Here's the one complicated thing about our good friend Mahmoud. Come on the pod. Come on wherever you want. So he is very open about the fact that he has relationships with men. He does not want to define his sexuality, which I think as a 90s gay rubs me in the wrong way.
Well, so his thing has
Nuanced.
always been that like it's all in my music. It's just that like as a conversation topic, it's not his outlet to discuss it. He's not hiding it. So like I will say I have much less of an issue with it.
Obviously, his music and who he is has pushed a conversation in Italy that really needed to happen. So I don't want to be like too critical. It gets to what is your obligation as when you get to be a celebrity. And I know he's dealing with a lot of backlash. So I don't want to be like, it must be so easy for him because he's famous and on the cover of Vogue. Would it be meaningful if he was willing to talk about it a little bit more? I think so.
I think something that he's challenged really well, especially in Italy, that has a very certain idea of masculinity. He is not a very naturally flamboyant person, but when you take this sort of fairly traditional masculinity in some ways, but then you pair it with the most flamboyant clothes This is now just a Mahmood podcast.
Well, no, I mean, now. There's something very progressive about trying to advance this idea of it shouldn't matter.
Yeah, like we dream of a world where the default is no longer straight, right? We dream of a world where you don't make those kinds of assumptions based on anything, right? But yeah, it is still tricky, I think, because there are so many of us who are like, no, like I need to know. I need to know, are you with us?
It's like, oh, really? Because you're going to lose album sales? Like there's an element of like, Taylor Swift not endorsing Hillary Clinton to it. You know
absolutely.
what I mean?
I mean, and this is playing out in real time right now in kind of my genres of country music and Christian music, obviously. Christian music is wild right now. I went to the Dove Awards last year, which is the Christian Grammys. I was getting approached left and right by people very quietly being like, we're so glad you're here. Thank you for what you're doing kind of thing. It's like the industry has so many people in it who are like totally queer affirming, but privately. That's not allyship, right? Like I don't want that.
Coming out of this game, what's something you take away that was surprising?
C and Mahmood's song, like there are songs there of like deep substance and meaning about like real human stuff. I guess I just had this idea that who can be the most outlandish, can't be like fun song. And I'm sure that's part of it too.
Yeah.
But no, I love to know that there's like real substantial like soul stuff happening at Eurovision. I want to get more into it.
Yeah, I think there's a real corollary with drag is that people who are not a part of it or following it, they're like, oh, it's about being ridiculous. And you're like, no, it is the over the top. But C and Mahmood is also very much what Eurovision is.
I love that like correlation because that just helps me understand it fully because that's what I love about drag is drag has the capacity to hold it all. We can have the outlandish and outrageous and we can have the deeply emotional, touching, whatever, like dig up some trauma, all of that too. I think I still have so much more to say, but to two audiences. Like half of what I do, I feel like is for queer people growing up in the church. And I want them to know that they are not alone, that all of the oppression that they're currently experiencing, there's a life beyond that because I didn't have that. It's fun to be gay. It's really fucking fun. We have a good time, as you can tell at this podcast. But then I think I still have a little bit more to say to the church before I honestly get out of there permanently. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how they receive this new record. I'm sure it will.
Yeah, you know what? I think they're going to be totally fine with that.
Oh yeah, they're going to
be like, yes, give us another number one hit.
Yeah,
all right,
amazing.
Flamy, thank you so much.
I will say there's something about the sentence, Flamy, thank you very much, when we don't say the full name that sounds...
like I'm calling him a
Yes, exactly.
All the mysteries of the Euro